In social studies, like all content areas, the teacher must accommodate the needs of a diverse group of students. According to psychologist Howard Gardner, there are 9 different types of intelligences, and a teacher's job is to ensure that each learner in the classroom is taught effectively. These intelligences are visual spatial, naturalistic, logical mathematical, interpersonal, verbal linguistic, existential, bodily kinesthetic, intrapersonal, and musical. To properly educate these students, teachers must be aware of the 4 different types of learning. According to Grand Canyon University, there are 4 different types of learning. These are visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic learning. Because the intellectual diversity can vary so broadly among students in a social studies classroom, it is always imperative that the teacher build relationships with the students so that they can learn what kind of intelligences and their types of learning. By understanding which of these their students are, the teacher can begin to differentiate their lesson to fit the needs of those specific learners. Outside of building relationships, it is always a great idea for the teacher to assess what the students already know and where their mindset is at. A great instructional strategy to discover the types of learning and intelligences of the student is pretesting. According to a past teacher and principal, Sean Killian, pretesting, quote, helps students to activate prior knowledge, focus on what they need to learn, utilize error recollection in the future. Through pretesting, teachers can build lessons and units to fit educational archetypes for their students. Another great instructional strategy for building upon the type of learning and intelligence of the students is through group work. Group work requires students to work together in the most efficient way possible to accomplish a task. By understanding what each student's intelligence and learning type is, teachers can effectively build student groups based on the intellectual archetype of each student in the group. In today's world, the 4 C's of the 21st century are so important to education. The 4 C's are communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Effective social studies teachers must find instructional strategies or resources to build upon each of these crucial skills. A great instructional strategy for building upon communication would be debate. In the state of Tennessee, the state social studies standards state that the 7th and 8th grade students should be able to, quote, construct and communicate arguments by citing supporting evidence. This standard perfectly aligns with the need to reinforce communication skills, and debate is an effective way to teach both. By learning how to construct an argument with evidence, they can effectively debate in class on a regular basis. By practicing debate frequently, students will be building their communication skills. The next skill, collaboration, can be effectively improved through the use of Google Slides. This technology allows students to work closely on a project in an extremely simple and easy to use way. With this, the students or teacher can assign roles to each student and keep up to date with their partner's progress and are able to immediately offer aid if needed. The next skill, critical thinking, can best be reinforced through the instructional strategy of integrating prior understandings. This strategy asks students to link what they already know to the current lesson being taught to them today. To do this, the teacher must ask thought-provoking questions to get students thinking critically about their own knowledge and what content they are expected to learn. Finally, for creativity, students can use Canva. Canva is an engaging digital tool that allows students to create fun and interesting graphics, illustrations, graphs, presentations, and much more. This tool allows students to use their creativity to build visually interesting social studies projects. When it comes to education, motivation is key to success. When students are unmotivated to work or learn, they simply will not. Teachers must find effective ways to motivate their students. One way to encourage self-directed learning is through autonomy. According to a journal article by Martha Abella McIver, Maria H. Davis, and Douglas J. McIver, quote, when students have opportunities to exercise their autonomy and make choices while learning, their intrinsic motivation increases, end quote. To provide autonomy, teachers should allow students to have choice in their education. By offering choice, students are learning to take responsibility for their own education and are more motivated to learn when they are choosing how it is accomplished. The next strategy would be instilling a sense of belonging in the classroom. Every student should feel like they belong in their own classroom. To accomplish this, teachers must find ways to encourage participation and collaboration. A great way to do this is by having students discuss the content being taught to them in the classroom. By wanting to be prepared to discuss lessons, ideas, and text, students will be more motivated to learn, listen, read, and collaborate in the classroom. Finally, novelty can play a large part in the classroom. By finding instructional strategies, technology, or resources that are novel, students will naturally be more motivated and engaged with the lesson. For example, if a social studies teacher were to implement Google Earth into their lessons to illustrate where events are taking place in our world today, students would be more likely to remember the lesson if they can visually imagine where that where that event is happening in today's world.